in your room, baby.
What's happening, good people? It's your girl, Ms.Kecia, with a little chat chew for you. I hope everybody is doing great on this lovely evening. So, it is our final episode for this series. On the road to 50, and love is looking real iffy, So, before I even go into my little rant again, this is what we're going to do. Let me do my disclaimer. So, all the opinions and the thoughts that you hear on this show of mine are mine and my guests. Our intent is not to change your mind or sway you to think any other kind of way but the way that you feel and choose to think. If we disagree, we will respectfully disagree. Cool. So check this out. Tonight, me and my guests, we're gonna kind of do a little back brief of everything that we talked about, and then we're gonna go into tonight's episode, which is let's talk about sex. We all know that sex plays a big part in the relationship, but when is too soon? When do you wait? Are you holding it hostage? Are you holding it over someone's head? Like, there's so many different factors when it comes to sex, especially at my age. So, and we're talking to the more mature crowd, okay? All right. So tonight, my special guest is none other than Clayton Hood. What's going on, Tom?
Hello, how you doing? How you living?
I'm fabulous. Tell the people hello.
Hello, people.
Y'all see the dynamic duo is back together?
Back together.
For those of you who do not know, me and Top were in command together during my illustrious years as a United States Army officer. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Top, let's just get into it, because me and you, we talk about all kinds of stuff on
Yeah, let's do this.
Privacy of our own homes, right? So after last week, I had to make sure that I had somebody, a grown enough man, that was not going to back down and not going to be intimidated to have an open, honest conversation with me. Okay. Now, so, the first episode we talked about, what did we talk about? The first episode we talked about having baggage, going into a relationship, and, opening yourself up and remembering that the other person has baggage too. And, you have to, compromise and, all those different things that come with that. Then the next episode, we talked about red flags, identifying red flags, and, what do you do? Do you not to settle, rather, when you see red flags, go ahead and address them, as they come about, that type of thing. And then the next episode, we talked about, do you go back? When is it a good time to go? When is it right to go back to a past relationship? So, having said that, tell me, what are your thoughts?
Well, the first thing I want to say, when we talk about baggage, right, from one relationship to the next, I don't think that you carry that baggage forward, but I do believe that you have to discuss that baggage. You have to be open and honest with the person, with the new person in the relationship.
Well,
because
how do you think that's not carrying the baggage forward if you're going to talk about it?
Because carrying it forward is holding someone accountable for what the last person did to you.
Okay. All right, I see what you're saying. So elaborate that for people who might be thinking the same thing I was thinking. I understand what you're saying now, but go into a little bit of detail. What are you really saying?
Because that previous relationship, whether you want to admit to it or not, shaped who you are today.
That is true.
So you have to.
That is true.
You have to open up and discuss how that previous relationship affected you.
Right.
If you internalize it, if you keep it to yourself, that's when you're going to carry that baggage forward. When you don't admit to yourself that the last person that you were in a relationship affected who you are and how you act and how you react to people. So
That
you
is
just
good.
have
That's a
to.
very good point. So it's not per se like taking away the negative from it, but take away the positive. What did you learn about yourself? What what did you learn about yourself in a relationship? If and when these things were to happen again, how would you handle it? That type of thing.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because,
How about okay, how about red flags? What are your thoughts on those?
so when you see red, and we all see red flags, but the problem we have, the tendency that we have when we see red flags, we tend to ignore them.
Right.
And we ignore them because we might not be in love, but we're in lust. There's something about that person that we have a strong like for. And it
Mm.
might even be love, that we're going to ignore those little red flags. But ignoring those red flags only gets us in trouble. And
Yes, it
so
does. Absolutely. Absolutely.
we
And
we
you're
have to
right.
address
What
those
I
red
think a
flags.
lot in one point that we pointed out was that you people, us, we tend to overlook. I could just speak from my experience. I have overlooked red flags in the past because I have felt like, well, they tell me he said he loved me. So if I tell him this is something that hurts me or this is something that, makes me feel a certain kind of way, a negative way, then he will change. But then when he doesn't, there's no consequence. So what reason do he have to repair the behavior or change the behavior if there's no consequence? It's like a child. You whoop them, they do something bad, you whoop them, they're gonna keep doing it again because a whooping only lasts a few seconds.
Exactly. But the thing, and what people don't understand, love is an action word. So
Yes, it very much is. Yes,
if
it
he
is.
truly,
I'm glad you said that.
if he truly loves you, he's going to make some changes. Now, a
Right,
person can't change everything about them because
right,
they would no longer be themselves.
right,
But they have to meet you halfway if they truly love you.
right,
And you have to understand why are they in a relationship? Why do they want the relationship? What is the relationship about?
But
Because
I find in my later years in life that older men, like it's harder for older men. Like it's easier to say, take me or leave me. Or you know what I'm saying? Like they are not as open about their emotions or open, like they hold on to stuff. What Lulu and Mary and all the rest of them did. So they
yeah,
feel like they're justified. This is just my experience. They feel like they're justified in their behavior because some other women did this to me and they feel like they allowed it. So they feel like they're justified in their behavior. And if you love them, you'll understand.
two things. The first is it's not just older men, it's men, period.
Okay.
So
I'm glad you said that. Okay.
and men will only do what you women allow us to get away with. Now, the whole problem in a nutshell is that there's not enough of you women who stick together. So I can leave
Wait,
you
wait, wait.
today
Slow down. We're not going to speed past that like you didn't just say that. What do you mean?
about allowing, we'll take
No, no,
whatever
no.
you
I
want.
got the part about men are only going to do what we allow them to do. I mean about we need to stick together. What does that have to do with it?
So here's the thing. You got a group of women, right? A group of
Uh-huh.
10. Out of that group of 10, there might be one of you that's going to hold men to a standard. The other
Okay.
9 are going to allow men to do what they want to do. So I have other options. I know that if you're not going to do what I want you to do, I'm just going to the next one because she will.
I got you. I
It,
got
it's
you.
it's it's too
That's
easy,
good.
too easy, and that's
That's
something
good.
that women haven't learned about men.
Got you. That's good. Okay. All right. All right. That is very good. And that is the God's honest truth. And unfortunately, she feels like she really got a prize, but she really didn't. And the unfortunate thing is, in a couple of months or years, she'll realize that she didn't get a prize because he probably won't be any different with her than he was with anybody else.
Yeah, and realizing it is not enough. She have to realize it and admit it and talk about it in order to overcome it. What you don't talk about is the things that you suppress. And suppressing things change absolutely nothing.
Nothing. Right. That's good. Damn, Top. Okay. So how about this? All right. Me and Stacy was saying, when is a good time to go back? So we both agree that, you never re-enter a relationship where there was any type of violence or manipulation, obviously. And we both agree that we could never go back to a relationship where I cheated or he cheated. Like, you know what I'm saying? If anybody cheated, we could never go back. So we both agree that the only relationship we can go back to is if, the timing wasn't right, or, we failed to effectively communicate with each other. We wasn't mature, and now it's later, we've learned and we want to try again. So, what would you say? What is your opinion on going back to a past relationship? Like one of my girlfriends said, "Oh no, I'll never go back to a relationship. That's like throwing up and then eating your own throw up."
I have mixed
That was
feelings
a
on
little
this.
drastic, but hey.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings on this because I went back and I believe that relationships can be savaged, but you have to ask yourself and be honest with yourself. Why did you split up to begin with? There was something there that drove the wedge between the two of you. And if you haven't resolved those conflicts, you haven't resolved those issues, going back, and most of the time, to be honest, when people go back, and I know we're going to talk about this later in the segment, when people go back, it's for sex. It's not for anything else. Yeah, when people go back, it's because the
Six comes
sex
a
is
dime
good.
a dozen. Do you really think that's why most people go back is because of
Yes,
sex?
yes, I really believe people go back because of the sex. They go
So you
back
think
because of
that's
the
the
sex
number one reason why people re-enter a relationship is because I guess the sex was good. I
because
don't
they had.
know. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that.
Well,
I
we'll
don't know.
agree
I
to
don't think
disagree.
I agree with that.
Why do you think they go back?
I mean, it's a number of reasons why you can go back. You love that
I'm
person,
listening.
you believe in a relationship. I mean, I'm just be honest. I've had bad sex with a person and we broke up and we tried to do it again. So it wasn't the sex. But
So why did you go
okay,
back?
what I would say is it wasn't bad sex because I feel like for me, because sex to me is more emotional. You just don't go having sex with just anybody, right? So I
I don't,
mean, yeah, you go through that stage, but you just okay, got it. But for the most part, sex is a more of an emotional act, right? Because if you believe in the spirits aligning and blah 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 blah, right? So
primarily for women.
okay, you are absolutely right. For women, um, for 99% of the women, you have that 1%. Okay, but 99% of the women, sex is emotional act. For men, it's just a physical need being met majority of the time.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is this. Um, Speaking for myself, like I wouldn't say the sex. I mean, the sex was okay, but because I was in love with that person, I made it work. Like it was more of the fact, the intimacy. We were together, the way, he
You,
made me feel and all of that. That makes you understand what I'm saying?
I understand
And
exactly
so
what you're
when we
saying.
broke
I,
up, we did the whole flippity floppity thing. And it wasn't about the sex, because it was about the fact that I believed in our relationship. And so I just didn't let go just like that. Like I had to go through my phase. It's like the 7 stages of grief. I had to go through that to finally let go of the relationship. And a lot of time when we was doing the whole back and forth, we wasn't having sex.
so let
And
me
it
ask you a
just played
question.
out to where I moved forward and he didn't. And I just had to go through it to realize that. And then I could let go and, we can move on as friends.
So you grew apart because you were not on the same
Right.
level.
We were not, and we grew apart.
Grew apart because you're not on the same level.
Right. So it wasn't
What
the
brought
sex. It wasn't the
what
sex that we was doing the whole back and forth.
what brought you
Yes, we
back
really
together then?
tried, but he wasn't willing to move his feet. And I was ready to freaking run. So it wasn't the sex, because if that
It's,
was the
it's,
case, if it was the sex, I probably
it,
wouldn't be sitting here before you right now. So it
yeah.
wasn't sex.
So it's not always the sex, and there's always an exception to the rule.
Okay.
Your
Fair enough.
situation is most likely the exception to the rule. It's not the rule, because I believe the rule is that most people get back together, whether they stay together for a long term or just hook back up, is because of sex. Because if you were friends, if you were companions, if you were anything else, you would never went your separate ways.
No, I don't believe that, because one, egos play a part. And I feel like a lot of times people lose out on something because they allow their ego and their pride. It's not something that they really want to do, but it's their ego and their pride. So it's
So,
other factors in that.
so when you have a friend, because we often misunderstand the definition of a friend. When you have a friend, somebody that's a true friend, you know what doesn't get in the way? Egos. All the stuff that you're saying will get in the way. Don't get in the way of friendships. So
No, I don't agree with that either. So you trying to say you're not gonna have a disagreement with a friend?
no, that's not what I said. I have a friend, and I limit the number of people that I call friend. Why?
Exactly.
I have a guy, a friend that him and we disagree all the time,
I
but
can
we're
only
still
imagine.
friends. We don't allow our ego to get in the way. When I'm in a
But
relationship
y'all not
with
in a relationship either.
no, that's what I'm about to say. When I'm in a
It's
relationship
two.
with a female,
You talk about two men. I'm talking
no,
about a man and a woman.
that's what I'm about to get to. When I'm in a relationship with a female,
Uh-huh. I hope so.
we yes, okay, with a female, with a female, we don't allow ego to get in the way. We we have differences because no two people are going to agree on everything. You're going to have
Right.
differences, but if you're truly friends, you know what you're not going to do?
What's
You're
that?
not going to you're not going to allow the smallest of things to get in the way. You're not going to allow those egos to get in the way. You don't
Well,
have
I
in
don't
a
think that's
true friend.
always true. You have people that are in long-term marriages, and that sometimes rears a ugly head. And it's hard
They
for some people,
they
especially
have
a man.
disagreements. Yeah.
It's hard for a man to come back knowing that they allowed their ego or their pride or whatever to cause them to make a mistake. And it's the same
But they
thing
were
for
not true
women.
friends because you know the difference between a discussion and an argument.
Yes.
A discussion is somebody's trying to win. I mean, a discussion
An
is you're trying to
argument
come
is
to a
someone's trying to win. A discussion is
right.
I'm
And
listening to you to understand, and you're listening to me to understand.
yes. And so in those situations where people disagree and they can adamantly disagree with each other, They'll have a discussion to resolve their issues. If
In a
they're
perfect
not true
world, in a perfect world, that works. Yes.
in a non-perfect world,
Nah, Top. Nah.
we're going to agree to disagree.
Okay.
Because I believe that true friends don't allow small things to get in the way to affect a relationship. You can disagree with someone, but you can say, and look, I understand where you're coming from. I
That's
just
easier said
respectfully
than done
disagree.
because I have true friends that we have got into. We've had discussions that led it to arguments, right?
Yeah.
And we've let our pride or whatever get in the way, and we walked away upset with one another. But we came back and said, "Hey, you know what? I was wrong. I shouldn't have said X, Y, Z. I just felt some kind of way," and we apologize. I think it's easier to do when it's a man and a man or a woman and a woman. When it's in a relationship between a man and a woman, I think it's a little bit more challenging sometimes for one of the parties. Like I
Not
can tell you that, and you already know, I wasn't about to apologize for nothing.
but
You
not if
already
you
know, Top. You
not
know
if
me.
you
I
truly
wasn't about to, but now where I am in my life, if a discussion turns into an argument and we end up saying something, hurtful to each other or whatever, and we walk away from it upset, I'm big enough to be like, you know what? Give me a couple, give me a few minutes or so to get my thoughts together. But I'm willing to come back and say, you know what? I messed up. Like last week, I said it on my podcast when we was talking about a man doesn't want a woman to control them. A man is looking for a helpmate. And so I said, one thing that I know that in a particular incident that I know in my past relationship was, I know that I could have done better was, we took a trip and I basically said, this is what we're going to do. And that's what we did. Like, I didn't take into consideration what he wanted or, it was just like, this is what we're going to do, and then hindsight is 2020, did I really take into consideration what he wanted? You know what I'm saying? And so I had to say, all right, that was over. That was over some time. That wasn't like a week or so later. That was over some time. So that's why I say it's different in a relationship. Because you don't want to hurt the person that you with, and you don't want to feel like that person is controlling you and controlling your thoughts, and just all the little stupid stuff that go on in your mind when you get into a disagreement. And so, and then when you're dealing with type A personalities, then you have to deal with the ego and I'm not wrong, you wrong, and I'm right, no, you ain't right, all of that. It just rears its little head. So I think it's a little bit more complicated when you're talking about in a relationship
I
versus
think
just me and my friend disagreeing. Hell, me and you used to disagree. How did that turn out?
all the time. All the time. I think it's
Okay,
much
let's
easier.
talk about that. It wasn't no. You wasn't
Yes,
all
we
of
used
this
to
you talking
disagree.
about now. That can always happen.
No, but
Okay,
here's the thing:
so that's what I'm
we were
saying. It's
not
a
in a
little bit
relationship.
more sensitive sometimes. That's what I'm saying.
I think in a relationship that it's much easier if you truly care about the person, if you truly love the person. Because when you truly care about somebody, when you
You don't want to
truly
hurt
love them,
them.
say what?
You don't want to hurt them. If you truly love somebody, you
Exactly.
don't want to hurt them.
So you're gonna make some sacrifices. You're gonna do some things that you normally wouldn't do. Because I'll tell you, the person that I'm in a relationship with, I'm gonna sacrifice and I'm gonna be more humble with them than I am somebody else that I call friend. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I
I'm
can
gonna
agree
be
to that.
more
I can
willing
agree to that.
to
But that's
bend
more,
for that person that I
but that
bond
is
with.
easier for our personalities. That's not so easy with everybody's personality, especially
But
when you're
I
used to
agree with you.
people letting you down, taking advantage of you, hurting you, whatever the case may be. And so you have this muscle memory defense line that you work off of. So you're going to automatically jump into defense mode. Go back to that baggage.
But you have to open up. You have to open up and talk about it. You have to
Yep, you're
discuss it.
right. And it
Because I'm gonna
does
tell you,
take time. Because I have to trust you enough to be completely vulnerable with you. I can be in love with you
yes,
and become vulnerable with you, but I might not be completely vulnerable with you. It's going to
yes.
take me some
And you have to be
time.
vulnerable in a relationship.
Well,
You have to be vulnerable in a relationship.
yes, but it's going to take me some time to be completely vulnerable with you. I'm not going to just, it takes time.
Because it takes time because you have to build that trust.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
But if you have open and honest communication from day one, and the person doesn't give you a reason to not trust them, then it's much easier to be vulnerable.
Yes,
But
you're absolutely right. You're
if you start
absolutely
seeing
right.
those,
Ding, 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 ding. You're
if you
absolutely
start
right.
seeing those red flags,
That's in a perfect world. That doesn't always happen. And sometimes people do stuff that they have always done because, like you said, there's always someone else that's going to allow them to do it. And because that's what they're used to, they lose a good thing because of a bad habit.
yes, and they're selfish.
Right.
In
So
a
in that situation, would you go back?
no,
Oh, okay. Even if the person showed you that they have, sometimes it takes you to lose something. It takes a significant emotional event for you to say, light bulb went off. You had your
so
Einstein moment. Still
let's
no?
say this, right? That
Huh?
person, that person that left the relationship or situationship or whatever that was there, that person that left went to see was the grass greener on the other side. They got to the other side and said, "Oh, this grass is not greener. Let me go back to where I was." Are they coming back because they actually love me and care and willing to make the sacrifice? Or now it's because they found out the grass is not green on the other side?
How do you
Maybe,
determine that?
and that's why I said earlier, I'm kind of split on this because I've allowed someone back into my life. And what I realized is that I waste my time for the second time. I should have.
I feel you.
And it's obvious that, like me, you did the same thing because you allowed someone back into your life that you shouldn't have. You wasted months,
I
weeks, or
wouldn't say
years
it was
with them.
time wasted. I wouldn't say that.
Oh
I
yeah, it
wouldn't
was
say it was
wasted.
time wasted. I would say that it was like a review. You know how you learn a lesson and
Was
then
it
you go back and you do the review before the quiz
was
comes?
it productive?
Yes,
Would you
because
do it
I
again?
knew for sure we could only be friends,
So
and I was
so
okay with that.
so
I
you
still
would
love
do the
you. I
same
still care about
situation
you. I'm
again?
not in love with you, but I'm okay, and we can still be friends. Now,
Yeah.
we may have a challenge with it because the light bulb finally went off, but I don't know. I mean, woo 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 woo. You
You
know.
had to move on because you
Woo.
realized you were wasting your time. I understand. You might not want to admit to
I
that.
don't think it was time wasted. I really don't.
Okay.
Because it wasn't always tumultuous. It wasn't always an argument. What we had very good times. We had more good times than we did bad. But then when
Mm,
and then but then when we realized I was ready to run and you just wanted to stay in one place, that wasn't gonna work for us.
yeah.
So, and then after that, I didn't date for about 3 years. I think that's where
Yeah.
I am right now.
So and I guess it all depended on what you were looking for at the time. Because me, I considered it a waste of time if you didn't build something with that individual. Because me personally, I've wasted time, and I've wasted a lot of time because
mention it. You don't feel like you've learned something from.
Oh, I most definitely learned, but it's not something that I wanted to learn. It's not something that I should have learned. Oh, I most definitely learned, because if you don't learn from your mistakes, your past experiences, you're doomed to repeat them.
Yes.
And so, but if I had made the right decisions earlier, when I saw those red flags, I wouldn't have had to learn from those
All those
mistakes.
mistakes. And that's
Yeah.
everybody. So you have to, I choose to focus on the good things. Like I've been in, when I was younger, I've been in relationships like we was fighting in the club, like all of that right there. I don't have no regrets from that, because those things, they taught me some good, bad, or indifferent.
I'll tell you, I have regrets from a lot of things, because I grew up in the country. I desired to marry one woman and stay married to that woman for the entirety of my life. So that didn't happen. And it doesn't happen for a lot of us because of those red flags, because of those mistakes. And because I can't say that that's something that I'm proud of, because I'm not. Because
What
it
do
not
you
only
mean?
affected,
What is it that you can't say that you're proud of? Not finding the right woman to marry?
not finding someone that was willing to work with me and stay with me for the entirety of our lives. Because that should be, if you want to be in a relationship, that should be the ultimate goal, to be with someone and to grow old with that person.
Right.
It happens, but it happens because of the decisions that people make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
We
don't
make,
feel like, let's talk about your marriages. You don't feel like in your marriage y'all both was working towards the same goal?
no, that's why we're no longer married.
From the beginning, you didn't feel that way.
Now I'm gonna tell you the problem I have, and like I said, the mistakes I made. When people say that you have to be equally yoked,
Okay.
that's truly an understatement. The
You
person
absolutely
that
right.
the person that you marry, the person that you're in a relationship with, have to have the same goals, vision, will, determination, willing to put up with the same effort, willing to make the same sacrifices.
That's right.
Everything
You're
that you're
absolutely
willing
right.
to do, that person has to be willing to do that,
Mm-hmm.
or at least meet you, if not halfway, 50-50, uh 60-40, 55-45, somewhere close, so that you can be successful at whatever you're trying to accomplish.
Right. I
And
agree.
it's not always financial,
No, it's not.
but it should always be staying together for the eternity of your life. That's why the marriage vow is saying to death do us part, because that should be the goal.
Right.
But we lie to each other from the start of the relationship until we split up.
Yeah,
And I say
because
we
we
because
don't,
I play
a
a
lot
part
of
in that
us
as well.
don't come in it being our authentic selves.
No, we don't.
And that's
No,
something that we talked about in past episodes, is that you have to show up as who you are.
yes.
That's it. Show up. That's all you have to do. Don't show up as your representative. Show up as who you are. The right person is going to love you for who you are. You're not going to have to change who you are. But you
But
have to show up as who you are. In this day and time, right? I ask three things when I meet a guy that I am interested in. They're interested in me. Three things. I need you to be transparent. I need you to be consistent, and I need you to be trustworthy. Everything else will fall into place if you can do those three things right there. I really believe that. If you could be transparent, consistent, and trustworthy. Because when
and a
you think about
communicator.
it,
You,
communication,
you
quality,
I think
all of those things fall in a realm of those those three topics. So if you
I
can
think
do these three things, everything else will fall into place.
I
But
think you have to add
it's hard for
communication in
people to
there
be consistent. It's
separately.
hard for people to be transparent, especially if they're not showing up as their authentic self. How can I be transparent with you if I'm not really showing you who I really am?
True.
So,
But I think you have to, communication has to be its own separate thing.
but you can't be consistent if you're not communicating. Consistency and communication goes hand in hand. Being consistent.
I
Let's
think
talk
all of
about
them,
what's going on.
yeah, I think all
I
of them tie in
shouldn't.
with each other.
If you're trying to woo me, we're dating. It shouldn't be 2 or 3 days and I don't hear from you. That's not consistency, and that darn sure is not effective communication.
It shouldn't be one day. You talking about 2 or 3. If they truly
Right.
want
If
you,
you're truly into me and we're trying to date, then we should at least, hello, how you doing? You date every day.
yeah, and
But
and
2
and
or 3 days, that's not showing me consistency.
yes,
We're
I
not
totally agree.
communicating. So, and it's okay. And I think, in my opinion, some men have a problem with that. When women are not as clingy as other women are. And it goes back to what you said, out of the nine, the one and the other 9. You know,
Yes,
I may be like, okay, well, we could just be friends. And he might not have a problem with it because he just, plucked me over, like the little 10 little monkeys jumping in the bed. One fell out and bumped his head. I may fall out and bump my head. He still got 9 monkeys jumping in the bed.
yeah, and I'll tell you, I can't speak for all men. I'll just speak for myself. Normally, in the past, when I've not been that communicator, that consistent communicator, is because I'm putting you on the back burner because I have somebody else on the front burner, and I'm
Those
giving
9
them,
monkeys jumping in the bed.
yeah, I'm giving them that time, and
Yes.
and because I know that you're going to be there when I get ready for you.
Well,
I'll hit
you think,
Oh no,
because you're gonna fall into that one like me, and I'm gonna be like, it's cool. You don't owe me no explanation, because all we
yeah,
was doing was dating. But I told you from the jump, these are the things that I'm looking for. The first sign that you show me that you cannot give them to me, I'm cool.
yes,
I'm
I'll
cool.
take
I
my
have
chances.
people right now who won't speak to me because they tried to date me. And I said from the jump, after my last relationship, I said, I will no longer bypass red flags. I will not. I will
Yes,
not sacrifice my peace and happiness to be with another person. Because if I'm sacrificing something that's important to me and you're not sacrificing it or making sacrifices for this relationship, then I don't need to be with you. So, I had a guy, we were talking, we went out a couple of times, and, we was trying to see where it could go. And I said, look, until we figure out where we're going to go with this, I just need you to give me 3 things: consistency, transparency, and trust. Oh, that's no problem. I would never lie to you. Whoop de whoop de woo. And then we talking every day, talking. And it don't be a long, drawn out conversation, like you in high school, hanging on the phone, falling asleep. It don't be none of that. We're adults. We both have lives and we live them. But then I call you, no answer. I call you again, no answer. Same day, I'm texting you, no response. The next day, nothing. Crickets. The next day, I text you like, hey, I'm just trying to make sure you all right. Good morning. What the hell you mean good morning? Is you alive? You in jail? You in prison? What you talking about? Nothing. Long as you good. Then you want to call. I don't answer. I just tried to call you. I know. Well, why you ain't answer the phone? I don't have nothing to say. Well, why you acting like that? 3 things: trust, consistency, and transparency. You already showing me where you at. So let's just be friends. Ain't heard high nor tail from him since then. But you can't be mad at nobody but yourself because this monkey fell out of the bed. Because I don't want to jump in the bed with the other monkeys waiting my turn to fall out but my head. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you just,
and that's what I find that men are, dating in our age range. Like some people have a hard time with, because there are so many women out here single at our age and not enough quality men, or not enough quality men and women. So it's just all ratio is all flipped and off. So they tend to think, especially up here in the DMV, it's a whole bunch of single women and not enough bunch of single men. So yeah, they got their pickings. So what you don't do, somebody else will do. But
exactly.
You really are passing up a quality woman just so you can have 10 monkeys jumping in the bed.
9, because you're not jumping in there.
Yeah, because I'm not jumping in the bed. I'm jumping off before I bump my head. I'm jumping out. So that's why I say I don't want to date no more. I don't want to do that. I don't want to play the what's your favorite color. I don't want to do that no more. I don't. I'm just I'm not. It's not giving what it was supposed to have gay. I don't want to do that no more. Because
so
then
I'm
when
gonna
you call somebody on their BS, then they mad. Well, what you mad for? Why you mad? Like
I'm never getting to the point where I'm gonna say I don't want to date and I don't want to be with someone. And
I didn't
yes,
say I didn't want to be with anyone. I said I don't want to date no more. That's what I said. I would love to be in a happy, fruitful, loving, physical, intimate friendship, relationship, marriage. I would love that.
so how are you gonna get there without dating?
I don't know. I ain't thought that far yet. Right now, in the season that I'm in, I don't want to date nobody. I don't want to date. I don't want to go back. I'm just over it right now. I did. Like, I really was. Like, when my birthday rolled around, I was really in my feelings like, damn, I'm going to be that lady on the corner selling ices and styrofoam cups. I don't want to be the icy lady.
It'll get better.
I don't. I don't want to be 50 and have this. I mean, because my life is good, but I don't have nobody. Like when something great happens, like something great happened a couple weeks ago. Literally, when I got the good news, I was sitting there like, I don't have nobody to share this with. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that felt some kind of way. It really did. It really it felt some kind of way. And I think my life is good now. And I don't say that because of things or money or wealth. I am in a really good space in my life, and I would love to share this person with someone, you know.
But let me ask you this:
the whole dating thing is just woo. It's a lot.
Because one thing that we have to acknowledge to ourselves is that there's something within us that we have to change also, because all of us have a type.
Yeah.
And maybe the type of man, just like me, I looked at the type of woman that I was seeking. Maybe that type is not the type that you need to be with. It might be the type that you want to be with, but not the type that you need to be with.
Because I can look at, okay, so in the last, I can look at my last 3 boyfriends. All different. Night and day. No,
when they might be physically different.
Yeah. You're right.
Physically, and there's a difference between physically different and mentally, emotionally.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
Psychologically.
But I mean, like you don't be. I mean, at least I don't. I don't be like, ooh, let me find the one that has blah blah blah. You don't
do it consciously. You do it subconsciously, and that's why That's why you have to sit down and have an open and honest conversation. Now, to be honest, a lot of people, men and women, don't like sitting down and having that discussion. But that's the only way that you're going to find out. And they can lie to you, of course. But
Oh yeah,
then you see, do their actions marry their words?
right,
If their actions and words don't equal up to each other, oh, you got to cut them loose. They got to go, because you're never going to get what you want. And if you have to decide between actions and words, you're always going to decide, you're always going to look at the actions.
right,
What are they doing? Because some people are soft-spoken, or won't speak at all,
right.
but they'll have actions. They'll show you who they are.
You're right. You're right. Okay, so let's all right, like okay, now let's pop into the whole sex thing.
Let's go.
Okay, so do you believe that okay, what are your thoughts with sex on the first date?
So, as a man, as a male, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're always going to try to get sex on the first date, the second date, the third date, and any other date.
Okay.
That's what we're going to try to do.
Yeah, because
If
men are hunters.
yes,
They're
if
physical.
I was a if I was a female, no, you're not getting it on the first date, the second date, the third date. You might get it 6 months later,
But why do you
because
think that? Why do you think that? And I would tell you, I'm gonna tell you my thoughts on that. Why do you
because
think that?
when I was out there chasing it, right,
Mm-hmm.
my agenda wasn't to have a relationship. My agenda was to rack up numbers, to see how many women that I could have sex with, to see how easy it was to get a woman in bed.
So it wasn't for pleasure. I'm so confused.
No, I got some pleasure out of it,
Oh,
but I
okay.
also got a count. I also got a count out of it. And so what she was looking for and what I was looking for, two different things. She was looking for that relationship.
Right.
I was looking for that count,
Okay.
a notch in my belt.
Uh-huh.
And so we have to be honest about that. And so if a woman, if she will sleep with you on the first date, or even the second or third date, most likely she slept with somebody else on and the sex could be great. But what I'm saying, and I believe most men are saying, oh, she's easy. And I'm not, she's good to have sex with, but she's not the wife type. I'm not going to wife her up. I'm not even thinking about wifing her up.
Even now, you still feel that way?
Yes.
See, I don't. In my younger years, I felt that way. I felt like, okay, I'm gonna make him earn it. I'm precious. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still think that I'm a jewel, and I still think I'm precious. But I mean, sometimes it's
Because
just sex.
because today's in today's age, right? Women, and I've heard women say it, oh, I got to get mine just as well as he got to get his. So it's a lot easier for them to lay there and have sex. Before, women didn't have that type of attitude.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll tell you.
And I think it's because how hard it is to find a quality man. Why should I deprive myself of something that is enjoyable to me because there aren't very many quality men? I'm just speaking in general. I'm not saying that I'm out here just,
I understand
on my belt, because I definitely am not. But
I understand. So
I could totally see how somebody could think that way.
When you get that, right, then don't complain about, oh, I can't find a good man.
Why
because
not?
you found what you wanted, the sex.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Those type of women, and I know women like that. Those type of women, they're not looking for love. It's like they have a mentality of, it's none of them are worth my time to be in a relationship. So I'm gonna just do men how they do women. And
And
instead of
so,
women
yep,
jumping in the bed, is 8 men monkeys jumping in the bed.
yes. And if that's what they want, then that's great. If because all that has to be identified.
Okay.
Because when before when I met someone, I would be upfront. Hey, look, this is just gonna be a sex thing. Just
Oh, really? Oh,
oh
clutching
yeah.
my pearls.
So, so,
Whoa. This is just because I'm gonna let you know up front.
yeah.
This is just gonna be about sex. I'm at a point in my life where I'm not trying to have a relationship,
Uh-huh.
but I still want sex. So if that's not what you want, then hey, look, we can go our separate ways. And I could do that. Why? Because I knew there was 9 more out there that. So yeah,
Nine
I got to get
monkeys
mine.
jumping in the bed.
Yeah, I got to get mine. So because they have that mentality, they have the attitude that they got to get theirs. Guess what? I was getting mine.
So where are you now? As a man, a single man in this time, where are you now when it comes to meeting a nice woman and you know,
Sex is the last thing that I'm thinking about
it's so beautiful. Yeah,
because
because that's why I say transparency, consistency, and trust. It like
yeah,
those build the foundation, whether you know it or not. Like it really does. Because it's
because
like you can't have one without the other. And there's so many little pieces that go to that so that you can accomplish that transparent moment that, you know, if you
yeah,
can't do that, then let's just move on. So
because
I
if
think that people make a big deal about sex and sex is important in a relationship. Yeah, it is important, but it's so much other stuff that has to come along
yes,
before you get to, you know, how important sex is. Like now, I have decided that I just don't want to date right now. In this season, I don't want to date. So I have no desire to have sex and I'm okay. Like I don't, I just don't. And I'm a very sexual person, but right now in this season that I'm in, I don't want to date. Like I just don't want I don't want the drama, I don't want the headache, I don't want none of it, right? So there's no desire for it, you know?
right,
So um
Do you want to go outside?
like when I was out here dating, yeah, I wanted to have sex. And obviously, when I meet somebody, I know for me, the first thing when I look at you and I decide that you're attractive, then the next thing I think is, could I have sex with this person?
right,
Not that I'm going to have sex, but I think, could I have sex with this person? And but but now where I am, like, you know, because half of them couldn't
What?
hold a
What do you want?
conversation or they couldn't give me those 3 things. So never made it to the sex part. You know what I mean? And
right.
it's
Okay.
okay. So I'm at the point now where I just don't want to date. So I don't have no desire for sex. I mean, it's like it's suppressed, like we were saying. It's like it's suppressed because I'm just not in that space. I don't
Yeah,
know how long it's going to be that way, but I'm just saying right now in the season that I'm in, I just don't. And I mean, I've known people that done it before. I know people that are in sexless marriages because they're not physically attracted to their spouse. So you know what I'm saying? It's
it
important, but is it like, so
it
no,
can't
I
be
don't
the
date
most
for it.
important
I need to
thing
have
in the relationship.
huh?
Sex cannot be the most important thing in the
Yeah,
relationship.
no, it can't. Because if that's the case, you're gonna always have 9 monkeys jumping in the bed.
Yeah,
Because
you know,
someone is not gonna be satisfied. They're just not. So,
you can.
and I think that also a thing that I think was an error in my past relationship was um I am a very sexual person, but I noticed towards the end of our relationship, like, we wasn't very, intimate or whatever. And I would bring it up and he would be like, well, you can initiate it sometime. But then whether he realized it or not, he had said something to me like, I think I'd asked him like, if I woke you up and I wanted to have sex or, I was on you or whatever, how would you feel? And he was like, I'd be mad because you woke me up out of my sleep. So that deterred me from being so aggressive.
Right.
And I think that when it comes to sex, again, we have to be transparent of what it is what our desires are, what we like, what we want, so that, we can meet each other's needs. I don't think that sex should be a taboo topic.
I agree.
Sex
The
should be
thing.
a taboo topic, because if you don't talk about that, then you don't do it. And that person may feel like you don't want to do that, and then somebody comes along that wants to do it, and guess what they do? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I just in hindsight is 2020 something. Again, you learn, so I don't see it as a mistake. I learned that, okay, this is, when we do get to that topic of sex, I'm a very sexual person. This is what I like. This is what I want. Tell me what it is you like. Tell me what it is you want, because it has to mirror up. And that goes back to how people say you could have bad sex. I just don't feel like, I guess I'm pretty sure some people feel like they've had bad sex, but I just don't feel like there's no such thing as bad sex if you're in a relationship with someone and you have that level of intimacy.
Yes, exactly. But the thing about sex, it starts long before you're naked in bed.
It starts from lust.
No, what I'm getting at, it starts from foreplay. When you wake up in the morning, the little kiss on the forehead, or the little comments that you make, or the little messages that you send through the day.
Rub on my booty.
Yes, those things right there make sex more intimate, because
that is the intimacy of it. It's not just going for it,
We think about sex as being physical, but the best sex is mental.
Yes.
And building up to.
It starts mentally. It does.
Yes.
If you can touch me without touching me, you got it, bro.
Exactly.
And it's been very few people that could do that. If I can sit and think about you and achieve it just as if you're there, you got me, bro.
Yep.
But
and that's the way.
People don't take that time to reach that level of intimacy anymore.
Because they're always thinking about the physical aspect. The let me get in and do whatever I got to do for whatever time I got to do it and get out.
Yeah,
but
that is true.
It's not the body that I'm just trying to control. It's the mind. Like you said, if he can make you do what you do without putting a hand on you, then he's winning the battle.
Yes, you got me. I'm yours.
Yeah, but in men and women alike, we don't think that deep into it anymore.
Yeah.
It's I don't know where we've gotten off course.
Yeah, things are just different now. Like I was telling somebody the other day, like, hell, when I was ranting last week, like the whole text message thing, I think that's such a damn cop out. I think, and I can't stand for a man. Don't tell me nothing important through a text message. Like, if you can't pick up the phone and call me, like, to me, that just, I don't know, that just says a lot. It speaks volumes. Like, pick up the damn phone and tell me. Let me hear your voice. Let me hear, the tone of how you speaking. Like,
yeah. Let me ask you this though: when he call you and tell you, are you in receptive mode? Are you listening? Or you, soon as he start talking, you shut him down.
I could tell you there have been times when, I wasn't effectively communicating and I was listening to respond, not listening to understand.
Yeah, and
Again,
that's why you'll sometimes get those text messages.
yeah, but with a text message,
I'm not saying it's
it's
right.
under my interpretation because it's just words on a screen.
Yes, I'm not saying it's right, but that's why you'll get those text messages because he wants to communicate with you, and you're actually actively listening
Right.
versus
Yes.
you get into that mode where you're fighting back.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm listening to respond and not listening to understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. See. Yeah. So yeah. All of this right here is why, I think from now in this season, I'm just going to continue to bask in my peace and my
Oh,
joy that I feel.
you still young. Enjoy life.
I mean, it may happen. I don't know. Something may change. But I think right now, I'm going to just continue to bask in my peace and my joy that I have right now in this season. And I'm okay with it right now. I can't
Yes.
tell you that I will feel this way in a month or 2 months. Hell, I can't tell you that I'll feel this way at the end of the week. But right now, where I am, I just feel like one, I don't want to take another L. That's what I don't want to do. And I just think it's a lot of work, and I'm afraid of picking the wrong person.
Yeah. I will say you have made the step in the right direction by when you seeing those red flags, acknowledging them, addressing them, and if you have to, cutting that individual off.
Right. Right. And that is exactly where I am. And it's not that I'm cutting them off saying, don't ever talk to me. I'm just saying we're just not going to date anymore,
Right.
Let's just be friends or whatever. No expectations, no nothing. And that's all right.
Exactly.
But I haven't gotten good reception based off of those words.
And you're not, and that's understandable, but it gives you peace of mind, and that's what's important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, well, Top, I sure appreciate you helping me to bring this all to a close. And I would have hoped that I would have been in a much more, I wouldn't say positive because I say this is still positive, but I am happy for where I am. You know what I mean? I'm happy for where I am right now. I'm not bitter. I'm not angry. I'm not upset. I'm not, woe is me. I know I'm not going to become the icy lady no more, but I'm in a good space. So I believe when it's supposed to happen, it'll happen. And I'm just going to keep moving forward. And let's just see what God has planned for me by my 50th birthday.
Indeed. All right, so you still got 7 years.
Huh?
I said, so you still have 7 years.
Yeah. Like 20.
Yeah. Exactly.
So you guys, this is gonna bring our Iffy 50 series to an end. I thank all of you for your input. I thank all my guests that had enough balls to come and be on my show and have, we discussed from a man's point of view and from a woman's point of view. I hope that we have said something to help someone else out there who love is looking iffy for. It's okay to feel what you feel and to be happy in the feelings and the peace that you have. There's no rush to the finish line. Remember, this is a marathon, not a sprint. So it's okay. It is all right. So having said all that, you guys, let's talk about next month. Next month, we're going to do a series on building wealth as a mindset. We're going to have some dynamic people bringing some great nuggets, some great principles on life insurance, investments, saving money, all kinds of things to build wealth, because wealth is a mindset. It's not about dollars and cents. So that's what we're trying to drive home. And that's what we're going to talk about next month. So stay tuned. Make sure you come in and you add your input. Make sure you like and share. Don't just hoard this information to yourself. Share it with your friends and family. Make sure that you have logged on and subscribed to my YouTube. And on that note, we're going to thank Clayton for being on the show. We're going to give him a round of applause for sticking it out and showing up. Okay?
Thank you for having me.
So on that note, good people, it is time to say goodbye to all my friends. First, giving honor to God for the opportunity to be here and to walk into my purpose. I love being here. I love doing my podcast. This is my therapy. This is my time to bond with all the people of the world. Okay. So I appreciate that. I appreciate you all tuning in. I appreciate your comments. I appreciate your inboxes. I appreciate your support. To the Brass Mill family, I wouldn't be able to do this without them. My studio manager, if you're in the Brass Mill area, the upper northern Maryland, Aberdeen area, and you're looking to start a podcast, make sure you inbox me so you can get that information, or look up Brass Mill, the podcast studio. And to you, my fans, I wouldn't be here without you. So make sure you like and share and continue to tune in to see what's happening on Chat and Chew. On that note, as always, peace, love, and smooching.